So
really
excited to have you
good
on.
to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We can hear you.
everything's great.
Oh.
Everything's great. It's perfect. So it's 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern on my watch. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Recording is started. So welcome to Transforming with Jeremy and Ellie. This is a very special episode. Actually, Lyss, you are the first guest we have had on this show. So you are our like. You're on the wall. You should have a plaque or something. You're like our first guest. So
That's right.
It's my honor. We've got some amazing stuff for you this episode. I do want to remind you, if you're new to Blab, welcome. We love to see you here. Tell your friends, and you can do that by hitting the tweet or post button on the left-hand side. We'd love to have you get your friends here and get excited. Another thing is the props. You'll see this little icon like this on each of our screens. It is not a popularity competition, so you can click all of them as many times as you want, over and over and over. But what this does is the more props we get collectively, it lets Blab know that you like our show, you like our stuff, and we'll get featured more. So please, yes, the props are coming in. I love it. I love it. So just keep it coming. Keep it coming. And then also, we are going to have a Q&A. Now, the Q&As, as you know, if you've watched our show before, I mean, you can pretty much ask anything, whatever you want. Lyss is going to be giving us some amazing information today on her story, on the things she's experienced. But if you have other questions for her, questions for Ellie and I, you can do that. And you can actually post a formal question by doing /Q and then your question in the message box to the right. And what that does is it puts it over here on the left for us so that we can save it for when we are ready to answer your question. So sometimes the questions that don't get posted properly, they get, yeah, exactly. Ellie just did it. So, and so sometimes if you don't do the /Q, it gets lost in the jumble of the messages on the right and we miss it, but we don't want to miss your question. So /Q if you have a question. Drizzled Legacy, great to see you. We've got some familiar faces on here. I'm really excited to get this started. So with that in mind, Ellie, take it away.
Well, I want to personally welcome a personal friend of mine all the way from the island of Puerto Rico. He goes by Gordito to Fit on here. His name is Alvin. The guy, I think we should have him on the show in the very near future. He's lost over 175 pounds. He is very motivational. First time he's on here, and I just want to welcome him. I know he's listening to us now. Want to say hello, but more importantly, I want to say hello to our special guest this evening, Lyss Remaly. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. We are so excited to see you. I can guarantee you that so far we have about 70 people on here. I promise you, Super Bowl Sunday, everybody's here to see you, Lyss, and not Jeremy and I.
Yeah, no, they're not here to see us. Trust me.
Guys.
I can assure you of that. You know,
we've got the
your
Super Bowl
story
of weight loss right here going on.
That's right.
That's right. You are the MVP, baby. You are the MVP.
And actually,
really excited to have you.
What's funny is if you think about it, we've got 223, 34, 40. We've got almost like 450 pounds of fat loss between the three of us.
That's
That's a big person, man.
Pretty amazing. That's great.
High five. That's right. Awesome. You know, Lyss, I got to speak to you a little bit earlier this week over the phone, and we kind of went over a few of the things and some of the questions that we're going to go through on the show. But before we get to all of the amazing questions that everybody has for you, I wanted to discuss very briefly about, there's different ways of losing weight. Many of us, for instance, everybody knows our story, or they should know our story. They've been listening to our blabs in the last few weeks. And, we've done our weight loss, what we call naturally, no surgery or anything like that. But I think it's important that we discuss that there's many different ways of getting into weight loss. Surgery is definitely a controversial issue that I don't want to make it controversial this evening because there are, everybody's different and everybody's situation is different. So we can't judge and say, oh, you know what? They did it the easy way. So I'm going to come out just right now and just lay it out. Lyss got surgery. She's going to answer our questions about it, the surgery, the type of surgery she had, why she had the surgery, Actually, Lyss has had 2 weight loss surgeries, and she's going to discuss about that and how that is not the easy way out. It is not the easy way out. Some people, should go that route. Some people have to go that route. Some people don't have to go that route, and some people shouldn't have to go that route. It's all very individual, but if you guys are thinking that surgery is the easy way out, I can guarantee you, and Lyss is going to confirm it tonight, that it is not the easy way out, and you still have to work your butt off. It is only a tool like any other tool that we can use for weight loss. One of the other big things that we're going to discuss is something that we discussed. Somebody asked a question last week when we had our Q&A episode about loose skin. Jeremy and I both said we were very fortunate not to have to need the surgery, but that we would definitely get the surgery
Without
if
a doubt.
we needed it. Like tomorrow, if I needed it, I would get it done. Lyss lost the amount of weight that Jeremy and both Jeremy and I lost together. Combined. Okay. So if you guys haven't seen her pictures, her before and after pictures, I beg of you, Lyss, please give out your page right now where people can see your before and after pictures because they are amazing. So please, before we even go on, go ahead and share that page so everybody can know before.
So on Facebook, anybody can find me, Lyss Remaly, LYSSREMALY. Also, I'm on Instagram, Fabulous88 on Instagram. Also, I have a page on Facebook called From Bariatrics to Bodybuilding, which is also the title of my book that I'm writing, my memoir. So you can find me anywhere on there.
Awesome. Guys, please check her out because I can guarantee you if you have not seen her before and her competing pictures, it really is super inspiring and something that we can all learn from just by looking at the pictures. They say the pictures are worth 1,000 words. These are worth 220 words at least. So in pounds. So Lyss, let's get started. People want to hear from you and not from us tonight. So why don't you just give us a little bit of a summary of your story, how you started out, a little bit about your life being overweight. Were you overweight as a child? Is this something that came on in your teenage years? When was it that you decided that, enough was enough? And tell us a little bit about how you went into having your first surgery and how that worked out and how you got into your second surgery. So please, the floor is yours and people want to hear from you. Shoot.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you guys both for having me. This is so exciting. I am just beyond excited and honored to be on the show with you guys. So thank you. A little bit of background. I was born regular kid, but as I got a little older, I was the chubby fat baby. Looked like she had rubber bands in her elbows and legs, and it just wasn't as cute when I was 13, 14, 15. And I grew up in a family. My mom's Jewish. My dad is Italian. So I always said I was a pizza bagel. But of course, food was the center of our lives. We were talking about our next meal while we were eating our meal. It was, huge dinners. And so our lives revolved around food. And I didn't even realize it was a problem or a bad thing or that being overweight was a bad thing until I went to school and kids had no problem telling me exactly how wrong it was to be fat. And of course I was teased and bullied, and that was kind of where the funny fat girl thing came from. I, just kind of adapted, and I always had a funny, goofy, silly family and kind of went through my teenage years as the funny fat girl, and I played that role like a champion. And then in high school, I just kind of kept eating my feelings, and I got up to, I think it was 280 pounds my senior year of high school, and I thought, you know what, I need to lose the weight, and I went in for the lap band surgery. And I would be lying if I said I didn't think of it as a quick fix. I wanted to lose weight, and I wanted to lose weight fast. And I did. I lost about 50 pounds from the lap band, which was great. But then I ate the foods that went through the lap band easily, like milkshakes and mashed potatoes and, the feel-good comfort foods that just slide right through.
Yeah.
and ended up gaining about 150 pounds after the lap band. It happened over a progression of, a few years, obviously. And I got up to about 350 pounds when I was 21 years old. And I had what I call my click moment, where I was going to New York for an audition. I've been an actress my whole entire life. And so I was going to New York for an audition, and I didn't fit in the airplane seat. And they made me buy the seat next to mine.
Wow.
And in case that weren't traumatizing enough, on that same flight, I needed an extender seatbelt because the seatbelt didn't fit around me. And so here I am, sobbing, crying, 21 years old on this airplane. And I was like, this is enough. I'm killing myself. I can't walk up a flight of stairs. I can't put on my own bra. I had to, thank goodness I went to college in Las Vegas because I could wear flip-flops all the time. I didn't have to worry about putting on my own shoes. And I decided that I would have what's called the duodenal switch surgery, which is another form of bariatric surgery. And at that point, I figured, well, the lap band wasn't invasive enough. I need to go big. And so I did. And the first few months after surgery, I really didn't lose very much weight. And other people who had had the surgery, they had lost 50, 60 pounds. And I had another kind of moment of reckoning where I realized that I was still eating the same trash that got me to that extra 150 pounds, the 350 pounds. I was just eating less of it, but it was the same stuff. And that was kind of the moment that changed my life, where I realized the problem isn't the food. The solution isn't the surgery. The problem is me, and the solution is me. And I need to figure it out, and figure it out fast, or I'm heading for a world of hurt and disease and a life that I don't want to live. And so that was when I sat down and I literally wrote a list of all of the bad habits and behaviors and mentality hangups that I had acquired over years and years and years of just life as a fat kid. And I went item by item through the list and either tried to phase out that behavior or get rid of it or change it. And that's what took me 5 years to lose the weight, is that I had to change upstairs.
You change your life.
Yeah,
you change your life. That's crazy. Now, did you have any sort of guidance or coaching on this, or was this all something you created on your own and just kind of did it on your own regard?
It was kind of on my own terms, because really my bariatric surgeon, my doctor, was amazing, and he was so kind and understanding. And here I was, I had already failed one surgery, and I failed, as much as I wanted to blame the lap band and say, oh, it's defective, it gave me a bad lap band, it was me. And here I am going to this doctor and saying, look, I know I screwed up before, but this time will be the winner. He was just so kind and understanding, but there's only so much a doctor can do. He has other patients to worry about, and they have, other things to do. So I really had to figure it out on my own. And find
surgery, and I'm sure that you will agree with this. I mean, you said it just a minute ago, is not the solution. It is a tool, but at the end of the day, if your habits don't change, if your lifestyle doesn't change, you're really back at the exact same place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. As far as weight is concerned, because the mentality is really, and Jeremy and I say it all the time. It was pretty easy, I say easy with quotation marks, pretty easy to lose 110 pounds. It was really hard to get through the mentality of having lost that 110 pounds and not have that, fat guy, fat boy mentality, which I'm sure that you can relate to, Liz. And I'm sure that a lot of, folks that are listening to you tonight are relating to a lot of this stuff, the seat on the airplane and the seatbelt extender and all these things, there are common denominators when we're overweight. So you went through this lap band, which was, technically a failure. You said you ate through it, because basically what the lap band does is it's just a band that tightens around a particular part of your stomach and makes the stomach smaller. Am I correct?
Exactly.
In general terms?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but this band can actually expand, and it can actually even break, pretty much, if you eat enough and your stomach extends, because, our stomach is type of a muscle that does expand. The more we put into it, the more it expands, etc.
Exactly.
So your lap band expanded. You gained 150 pounds, a couple of years after your surgery, for argument's sake, and you went into what was the duodenal switch, which is a different type of surgery that actually reduces your stomach, doesn't just band it together, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but now the question is this. You got into your second surgery, you lost a few pounds, not nearly what you thought you were going to lose, correct?
Correct.
How much did you lose with that duodenal switch?
So initially, within the first 6 months, I lost about 40 to 50 pounds. And a lot of people lose about 80 to 100 pounds within that time frame, because that's really when the body is adapting and getting used to the surgery. And when you have more weight, you kind of have more weight to lose initially. But unfortunately, that was not my case. And so when I got on the scale and had my follow-up with my doctor and saw that my weight was really not where I had expected it to be, that was when I kind of had my second click moment.
For sure. And I mean,
and so I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, I'm just saying, like, I personally have worked with people all over the world who came to me after having at least one, if not multiple, weight loss surgeries, who were bigger coming to me than they were prior to getting the surgery to begin with. So it is absolutely, I mean, without a doubt. And somebody even said, Gary Willis, what's up, Gary? The problem is me and the solution is me. What a powerful quote. And he's absolutely right.
Absolutely
those words,
right.
I mean, those words are powerful right there. And that is truly what the solution is. It's a lifestyle change. There really is no quick fix out there. I mean, you can cut off parts of your stomach. You can do whatever you want to do. But if you are not changing your own lifestyle, your own behavior, your results will be very, very minimal to anything at all, if not regressing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I like to say too, is that the food isn't the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. The problem is usually much deeper, whether it's you eat for comfort, whether it's you eat when you're stressed or sad or happy or excited. It's so much deeper than the food. And that was part of the list of behaviors that I had to come up with, was why am I eating the way I eat? Because I was a closet eater. I would go to Burger King and get 4 Whoppers with cheese and a king-size fry and a Diet Coke, because let's not get easy.
No, come on, yeah.
And then go home for dinner, because I didn't want to have to deal with my family's judgment or my friends' judgment with what I ate. But when I went home, I would eat, my grilled chicken and veggies, and I would keep crying to my family, say, I don't know why I'm gaining so much weight. And because it's kind of like the concept, if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody hear it? Well, if a fat kid eats by themselves, does it count?
Right.
Right. So speaking of family, a lot of people want to know, is your family overweight? Is this something that you learned? Was it a learned behavior, or was it, is it genetic? Is it something that you were pushed to do as a kid? Did they tell us a little bit about your family background in that sense?
Sure. So my mom is teeny tiny. She's, probably maybe 5 feet tall on a good day, and she's teeny tiny, but she's always had to watch her weight. I mean, she was, she's not a naturally skinny person. My dad was a bigger guy, and my dad had 3 kids before meeting my mom and having me and my younger brother. So there's 5 of us total. And all 5 of us have my dad's genetics, where we're kind of short, stocky, built like linebackers. But I don't blame my genetics. Yes, there's maybe a little bit of a predisposition to what your genetics have, but you can help it along or you can hurt it. Right. I didn't help the situation. But when I got into school and I hung out with friends and I dealt with a lot of comments and backlash and bullying with regards to what I ate. And I think that's kind of where the secret eating came in, is because I didn't want people to judge me. I didn't want people to comment on what I was eating. I wanted to eat what felt good and it felt nice to eat. And so it just kind of exploded, if you will, to something completely out of my control. And I ate when I was happy and sad, and it felt good and it comforted me and it was my friend. And so it kind of took on a life of its own.
Lyss, 1 second. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I'm banning him right now. He's banned. He's banned.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Lyss.
No problem.
Somebody decided to come on and be an idiot.
No, you got trolls everywhere. You know, Blab's no different. Sorry, it takes 2 or 3 clicks in order to get somebody banned. So
Now we're coming right back because he's not gonna ruin this at all. So
no
Lyss,
worries.
Okay, so I'm so glad that you mentioned something, and I brought up family because of that. The fact that you said, you know what, I'm not going to blame my genetics. I'm not going to blame my parents for this, because at the end of the day, you know, as parents, I have 4 children myself. Jeremy has kids himself, and we know the power of our example to our children. But at the end of the day, when you get old enough, you have to be able to make your own choices and really take responsibility for your own life. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because you took responsibility for your own life and you said, hey, you could have very easily said, you know, I'm genetically doomed to be fat, you know, but you didn't. You took control of it, and, you know, you took the steps towards it. So you got through your surgery, and you got through your initial 40, 50 pound weight loss, but this is definitely not what you were looking for, because you were a lot heavier and you needed to lose a lot more weight.
Right.
So what is it that you did? Where's the work really coming? Because we know you work really hard.
I did.
The amazing body that you have today.
Thank you. One of the things that was on my list was obviously get to the gym. Because walking up the flight of 12 stairs to my condo was the only exercise I was getting at that point. And so at 350 pounds, I walked into a gym. I mean, I had swam before and, you know, kind of did activities, but I never really worked out. And so I got to the gym, and here's this big gym and all the big gorillas are doing their thing. And I was terrified, and I literally went from machine to machine, figuring out what it did and what muscles it moved and how much of that weight I could lift. And I tracked and wrote down everything, every single machine. And then I kind of fell in love with that process, and I was pretty strong. I was kind of shocked at how strong I was. And I loved that feeling, like that, you know, I came to find out the pump, but I love that feeling your body gets of just the adrenaline rushing through your body and the blood going through your body. And I kept wanting to go back every single day, and I wanted to try different activities. I tried step class and Zumba, and I tried kickboxing, and it kind of turned into this crazy love affair where I just wanted, it felt good to be able to move, and it felt good to be able to sweat and try new things. And I also, you know, as that was going on, I did a ton of reading about diet and food and how food nourishes the body. And I wanted to learn as much as I could so that everything had a purpose. The foods I ate, the movements and exercise that I did, there was a reason why I was doing these. And as that process went on, the weight was falling off and the muscles were showing up. And that was when I was like, I'm onto something here. This is kind of amazing.
Now, how long would you say this process was from doing that to getting to that, wow, this is amazing, things are changing, I'm changing? How long span of time would you say that is?
I would say it took about 5 to 6 months of really dedicating myself to the gym to notice that it was making a difference.
Yeah. And especially in something that we see that's very, very common. When your body fat percentage is 30+%, you're going to, I mean, you can lose 20, 30, 40 pounds and you're still going to have the same shape.
Yep.
You're just smaller at the same shape.
Exactly.
And so, and that's what a lot of people will say, oh, I'm not changing, I'm not seeing results. Well, are your clothes fitting better? Well, yeah, I mean, my pants are looser, but it's like, they expect like I lost 30 pounds of the 100 or 200 that I need to lose, and all of a sudden they're going to have a 6-pack abs or something. It's like, no, that's not really how it works. You're going to just get smaller in that same shape that you are. And I've found that, at a very certain body fat percentage, all of a sudden, then it's kind of that click moment too. And another one where all of a sudden, wow, they have a totally different shape than they did before, right? You get down to a certain point and all of a sudden it's like, I no longer have the love handles and I no longer have, and you're like, wow, like I've never looked like this before.
Exactly.
And so it is one of those things where tracking your progress in different ways, I've found, is also beneficial too. And you've got to use all of this as positive reinforcement to push yourself forward, right? You may take a progress picture of yourself and be like, I still have a gut. I still have, for me, it was, I still have man boobs. I still have a gut. I still have, but my inches were way down. My weight was way down.
Sure.
My pants were no longer a 48-inch waist. So it's like, it's using those things as motivation to push forward. And I'm sure you saw the same exact thing, right? I mean,
absolutely.
You're down 50, 60 pounds. I mean, wow, like that's crazy. That's awesome.
And it's the little things too, people, and you guys can relate to this, and it's very hard to explain to someone who's never had a weight issue, but being able to move my seat a little closer to the steering wheel in my car, and being able to put on my own bra, and being able to, all the little things that people kind of take for granted when it's not an issue, those little things you start to notice. And those are almost like the small victories that outweigh the victories that you see on the scale.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And because it's real, it's part of our life that we have, every time you couldn't put your own bra on, that had to have been
it's devastating,
painful.
Yeah.
Painful. And pretty soon you just become numb to it. But then that moment where you're able to do it yourself, it is a victory far beyond just being able to reach behind and put on your own bra.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Well, I've never needed to put on a bra, fortunately. Right, yes. But I
gotta take off a couple though, huh?
And there's a lot of guys on this blab. So, but something that we can all relate to is that airplane seat. How does it feel going on an airplane now?
Oh my God!
I can tell you, 9 years later, I'm like, man, I got room in here, baby. Woo!
And I'm gonna pull this strap as tight as it goes.
That's right. Look, it's 1.5 feet worth of. We laugh about it,
right.
But the truth is that these are, I'm 9 years into this, and I still celebrate those victories. I don't know about you, Liz.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
every time I get in my car and I don't have to squeeze in and then pull the seatbelt around, I'm just doing a little victory dance, or when I can walk up a whole flight of stairs and I'm not winded and want to die, I'm like, this is awesome.
You know what's great about this is that this entire time we're look at us. We're all three of us are super excited about these seat belts, being able to sit in an airplane seat, not having to squeeze into a car, not having to sweat our bodies into getting our seat belts across us in the car. Not once has one of us mentioned the six-pack.
Right.
Not once has one mentioned being in a bikini or in a bathing suit. No. Which is what most people think, that we're, oh my God, you're so lucky. Look at you. You know what, guys, we celebrate these small victories because we are just like you,
exactly.
Each and every one of you. Okay. And this is the common denominator. And this is why we have somebody like Lyss here. Not only is she an amazing athlete, okay, and I reiterate, I've seen her bodybuilding pictures, and it's like, holy crap, you would never, ever know that this girl was, even 25 pounds overweight, never mind 220. But again, here she is not mentioning once, I look great in a bikini today. I look great on stage, showing my muscle. She's talking about being able to sit in an airplane seat. And this is what we want you to know is that, yes, you can be on a stage if that's what you choose. You can be in a bikini if that's what you choose.
Yeah.
But the entire thing here is that this all takes time. There is no easy way out, as Lyss clearly states. She had 2 surgeries, for God's sakes. There was no easy way out. She busts her butt every single day. But here's another question, Liz, that everybody, I know that you've answered this 3 million times at least. So you lost 220 pounds, and now you are looking like a fitness model, right?
Oh, no. I looked like candle wax.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, obviously some people are very lucky in the sense that their excess skin is not an issue, which is amazing. For me, being big my entire life, it's not like the skin was tight and then loose and then could just be tight again. It was never tight to begin with. And to be honest, it was never a concern from the beginning when I thought, oh, I'm going to have loose skin. I didn't even care. I just wanted to lose the weight. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be able to breathe. Those were my main concerns. And so as I started losing the weight, I noticed some excess skin, and honestly, it didn't bother me. I didn't really care because I was just happy to be losing the weight. And then when I got down to my goal weight, which was about 150 pounds, my tummy skin like hung down to my knees, and my arm skin like flapped in the breeze. You can still see, my scars. My arm skin flapped in the breeze, and I thought to myself, all right, might be time to have this taken care of. And at that time I had been, saving my money. I wanted to buy a new car, and I figured, I'm going to spend it on my vehicle for life, and I'm going to get the skin surgery.
That's cool.
And so that was what I decided to do. And there's, I feel that this needs to be said, and whether or not, people agree with it or not, this is just kind of how I feel. I think there's a misconception for people who have not had bariatric surgery that bariatric surgery is the easy way out. But I think there's also a misconception in the bariatric community that skin surgery will reveal this beautiful, slim fitness model body. And that's not the case either. Building muscle and toning your body, it still takes just as much work as losing the weight does, whether you have surgery or not. So I just feel like that side note needs to be said. So here I had, muscles.
Huh? So just about that, we hear a lot about, especially I hear it from women mostly, about how do I tone?
Yeah.
But I don't want to be big. I don't want to lift weights.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to be a bodybuilder.
I don't want to be too big.
Yeah.
When I respond to that, I'm a guy, so I'm usually looked at like, you're a girl. Okay. So tell us about, and you're definitely not bulky. I mean,
Thank you.
Very nicely muscular, but you are still very, very feminine, and you are definitely toned.
Thank you.
So tell us about what toning really means, and about how difficult it is to really get bulky by lifting weights.
Okay. So I'm going to answer that last part first. Women build muscle the same way men build muscle. Muscle is muscle, but men have the advantage of testosterone and women have estrogen. So it is impossible for women to gain the amount of muscle that you see on the front cover of Muscular Development magazine without the use of enhancements, steroids, testosterone boosters. The women that you see competing in bodybuilding with, forgive me, with man jaw, the in and out voice, the, what comes with steroids, those women are using enhancements, fat burners, that are not sold over the counter. And if it works for them, that's great. If that's the look you're going for, that's fabulous. I would never, give somebody, I look at steroids the same way as I look at bariatric surgery. It's not a quick fix. You still have to bust it, but it kind of helps you along the way if that's what you're looking for.
Right.
For women, in terms of building muscle, I still lift really heavy. I'm doing deadlifts. I'm doing bench press. I'm doing squats, and I'm loading up the plates, and I'm trying to lift as Heavy and as hard as I can. And this is what I'm left with is a muscular, strong body. And I don't think I look manly or bulky, so I think that, women are under.
You definitely don't.
Thank you.
I'm very aware that you're a woman on the other end of the screen. I'm just letting you know.
I don't have to show you guys. Okay. I think that's a different show for a different day.
with a different rating.
And I think, women want to say, oh, I don't want to get bulky. You have to try to get bulky as a woman. I think any woman who,
as a guy too, let me just tell you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't come easy for anyone. And another thing too is, and this is something I tell my clients all the time. And Lyss, what happens? Let's say, just hypothetically, that you woke up tomorrow, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, good God, what have I done to myself? I'm huge. I'm so bulky. What would happen if you just stopped eating as much and stopped lifting weights? Within a very short amount of time, you'll come right back down. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
And so all these women that are so afraid to lift more than 2.5 or 5 pounds, it's just ridiculous. You have no idea how much you're holding yourself back.
You're spinning your wheels.
It's a lack of education.
You are.
Right. It's a lack of education. I really think, and that's why I brought it up, because I don't think it's, the mentality of somebody like that is not that they're dumb. They're not. They're just they're ignorant to the fact we're all ignorant of a million different things. I don't know how to fly a plane. I'm not an idiot. I'm just ignorant. I don't know how to fly a plane.
Right.
Nobody's ever taught me. So the same thing when people, especially women, they say, I've even heard guys, don't get too big. You don't want to get too. I don't want to get too big. I'm like, buddy, that should be your problem.
Right.
Is even if you get a quarter of as big as you're thinking you're going to get.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly how hard that is, but that's what actually tones your body. You want to hear the word tone? That is tonification, folks.
Tonification.
Yes, that's what it is.
Well,
It's a new word. It's a new word.
It is now.
It is now. It's in history, brother.
Dictionary. Well, and that's one of the things that just boggles my mind. The way people think, I don't know. Me personally, I would never not do something because I was scared of what could happen. I would rather give it a try, find out, and then know. It's the same with people with the loose skin. They say, "Oh, I don't want to have loose skin, so I'm not going to lose weight, or I'm not going to." Just give it a try.
Which is absolutely absurd to me. It's absurd to me. And we talked about this Ellie and I talked about this in the last episode, in how many people fear loose skin so much that they won't even start their journey.
That's shocking.
It's mind-blowing to me. Now, we do have a couple questions here that we're kind of in this place where it'd be a good time.
Sure.
Lyss, did you do anything special for stretch marks? Any lotions, creams, oils, any weird witchery? Did you do anything for stretch marks?
Yes. So I was very conscious the whole time I was losing weight about my skin. I always wanted to take care of my skin no matter what. But I use coconut oil and vitamin E every single day on my skin. But I also stay incredibly hydrated. And I think that the combination of everything, the skin and the stretch marks, aren't as bad as they could have been.
Awesome. So coconut oil and water.
And vitamin E. And vitamin E along with
the capsules,
hydration.
Yeah, the capsules of vitamin E, I would just open them up and mix it with the coconut oil and then just lube up my whole body.
That's awesome. That's great.
Great tip. Great tip.
We've got another one here. Let's go back from the beginning. Let's talk about maybe when you did have your nutrition a little bit more under control, right? It wasn't like post-surgery when you were still eating the same things, just a little bit smaller quantities. But once you started reading about nutrition and started really understanding it and eating probably more towards how you should, let's talk cheat meals. How, and I'll interject here with my own speech. Being a former closet eater myself, cheat meals were kind of a hard thing for me because I had major eating issues. And so you can say oh, it's a cheat meal, it's a planned cheat meal, but I didn't know I would easily get out of control. And so it's one of those, you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile, and I can't stop myself and all this stuff. Right. It's been a very, very long journey to where I am now, where I feel in control. But let's talk about you. cheat meal wise, can you cover and tell them what did you do for cheat meals? What did you do for the pizzas and the burgers and all this stuff?
So I wish I could say that I did the same thing from the very beginning, but this has been a process, and the process has been in my mind. And please don't assume that now that I've lost the weight that it's any easier now than it was before. I still have mental hangups now. I still have my food demons now. I just have a better way of dealing with them. But before, when I was, really getting into dieting and nutrition and the way that I should, I started with a cheat day. And I let myself have a day of things that I wanted to eat, that I was craving, and that I, had kind of looked forward to all week. And that kind of gave me the inspiration, I guess, to go for better foods. When I was eating the trash like McDonald's and Wendy's or, all the time during the week, it didn't feel like it was special or like it was something good. But when I waited all week, that was when I wanted a good grass-fed burger with Gouda cheese and bacon and macaroni and cheese. You start appreciating food, and the relationship with food gets a little bit better. And so I would let myself have a cheat day. And I did that for the first, I think, like 3 or 4 years. I let myself have a cheat day. And it worked, and it kept me, I had my hangups. I would go for a venti mocha frappuccino once or twice, and I'd have a slip up where I'd want some nuggets. But I tried to keep those as under control as possible. And if I did do that I kind of in a way punished myself, and that cut into my cheat day. I didn't let myself have, the extra burger during my cheat day because I had already had a treat during the week. So I kind of played like this reward and, suffrage thing with myself. And then when I decided to compete in bodybuilding, it became a cheat meal. Because now I had a structured diet. Now I had a plan, and now there was a reason for that cheat meal. When you're dieting hard and you're training hard, your body needs that cheat meal to restore all those glycogen, levels that you're depleting during the week. So now my cheat meal had an actual purpose. And that came again with education. I really taught myself why it wasn't my mind that needed the cheat meal anymore. My body needed it.
Mm-hmm. So Lyss, this is incredible because you're mentioning, you're touching on such great topics, and I am really, really happy that you're with us tonight. I think that everybody on here is also getting some amazing information from what I like to call a real person. You're not this. You could very well be a cover model, but we're not interviewing Nicole Wilkins.
Right.
or what's her name?
Dana Lynn Daly.
Yeah. So, we're interviewing somebody that is real, like Jeremy and I. Well, Jeremy's another story. He's really not real.
Totally fake.
He's a
superhero.
He's made up by me. But anyway, but here's a real person, an average, normal person that is doing extraordinary things. I don't want people to leave here thinking that they're going to go tomorrow and join the gym and get a trainer and start a diet, and that in 6 months they're going to be doing the things that you're doing now.
Nope.
When they look at me, when they look at Jeremy, we're into this about 10 years, give or take. Okay, how long has it been from when you started out with your first surgery to where you are now? What's the time span?
Wow, from the first surgery, I had my first surgery at 17, so it's been 10 years since my first surgery.
So you're 27.
That means you're 27?
I'm 27, yes.
Okay.
But if you ask me, I'll say 25.
Tanya Grove had asked how old you are, and so 27 years old, just so everyone knows.
27, yes.
So first surgery at 17, and so you're 27 now. When was your first bodybuilding competition where you were completely ready to go and show your body to the world, fitness-wise?
This past June 2015.
Wow, congratulations. That is absolutely awesome. So we're talking 10 years. Funny how it's funny how everything kind of here. We're all very different ages.
Mhm.
I'm the old guy in the group. You're the baby in the group, Lyss, and Jeremy is just Jeremy.
I'm fake anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jeremy, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Jeremy's 34. Lyss, you're 27, and I'm a crippled old 46-year-old. But here we are, and all of us coincidentally have gone from our beginning stages to where we are today in about a 10-year span.
Yeah.
So again, folks, this is a time thing. This is not happening overnight. And if you ask any of us, and Lyss, I'll let you respond to this, would you have thought 10 years ago that you would be where you are today? That's question one. And the second part of that question is, was it really difficult, or did you take it day by day to where when you turn around today and say, wow, it's been hard at times, but it really doesn't seem that overwhelming because I never thought of it 10 years down the road.
So to answer your question, when I kind of self-reflect and think about my history, I remember a specific night where I was at my highest weight, 350 pounds, and I had ordered an entire Chinese dinner on my own. The orange chicken, the crab ragoon, 2 orders of fried rice. And I was I had it all sprawled out because I used to order have my food and watch TV and just eat it all, like buffet style by myself. And I remember one night I sat there crying because I could not stop eating. And I felt so helpless, and I felt like this was going to be my life forever. I was just stuck being this person. And now I look back on that moment, and never in a million years at that moment in my life did I ever think that this is where I would be some 6 years later.
It's powerful.
Awesome.
And it was never easy. It was never, I'll just coast through. And, working out was always the fun part. Not that it was easy, but it was the enjoyable part of the process. Every single day has been difficult with my mentality and rewiring my brain and unlearning everything that I had learned. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do, was completely change my relationship with food.
Yeah. And then, a lot of that too has to just play with the fact that you have, 10 years, let's say, with this, but you had prior to that, 20 years of bad habits built up. And we all do this. And you had started out in the beginning of this episode, you started out talking about relationship with food, and people are different. Some people celebrate and some people cope, and some people, they use it. But we all do. Everyone does. And I'll tell you, from clients around the world, everyone does this. We use food for nearly everything in life.
Exactly.
You had a good day? Awesome. Let's celebrate. You had a bad day? Doesn't matter. Let's go eat. Birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Stress.
What else to do?
Stress. Divorce, marriage. It doesn't matter what it is. We use food as a emotional coping mechanism, whether it be good or bad, for everything we're doing. We are highly, highly integrated in our emotions when it comes to food.
Exactly.
And so when you start talking about living a life where you've abused that relationship, it is very difficult. And this does not go away overnight. There are people that think like, I can just get surgery and, 12 weeks later, I'm going to have the body of my dreams.
Nope.
Trust me. The root of the problem, as she said, and I wish I had that. I'll have to go back and find that quote. The problem was me, and the solution is going to be me.
That's right.
Exactly.
That is so powerful. I'm going to go write that down and use that again. And I'll try to. If we could maybe sign some sort of contract where I don't have to pay you every time I use that, because and that'll be used a lot. But the problem is with us and the habits that we have built and the relationships that we have built with these negative things in our life. And we all do it to some sort of extent.
Right.
There are those out there. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if it were really that easy and if surgery were really the easy way out, I would think that more people would be successful 5-10 years after having surgery. But a lot of people don't take the necessary steps to fix up here. And so 5 years later, they're right back where they started from.
Yeah. And I'd like to place a blame on somebody for that. And I usually don't play the blame game, but I do unfortunately have to place a blame on the doctors that are offering this.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'm not saying that all the doctors that are out there selling bariatric surgery are out for a buck. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of great men and women out there that really want to help people out, and perhaps they really don't understand. They may be doctors and they may be very smart at what they do,
sure,
but they really don't understand the mentality of it, and they think that, hey, just with a little bit of counseling in our office, we can get these people on the right track.
Right.
It's not. I think that counseling has to be a lot more than it is today. I think it has to be a lot more in depth than it is today before people get into the surgery. Because again, if it was more in depth and if it was for a longer period of time, people would be a lot more successful with the surgeries. Unfortunately, I know, listen, I can count at least 10 people that I know personally that I know, flesh and blood, not through the internet, not through people I just met once. I'm talking about friends and acquaintances that have had some type of weight loss surgery, whether it was the lap band, whether it was a gastric bypass, whether it was a sleeve, whatever it was. And I can tell you all 10 of them have gained their weight back.
Right.
All 10 of them.
So
which is insane. You're saying it's not even 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10 people.
Right.
And again, it's happened in a span of years. Some people gained it back within 2 years, some people within 10 years. But again, here we are, with a failure rate of 100%.
Right.
There's obviously something wrong. So here, Lyss is here to show us what the right way of doing it is. She got the surgery, realized that was not the solution, because the problem wasn't the food that she was eating. The problem was her mind, whatever her demons were, and she got that under control. Yeah. And I think that we need to work on that first and foremost. No, I'll take that back. First and foremost, I think we need to start doing something.
Absolutely.
Moving forward. I think we don't have to even believe in ourselves, and this is something that I teach all the time. No, you have to believe in yourself. No, BS. You don't have to even believe in yourself. Just start. Put the car in drive.
Exactly.
And just move forward. As you move forward, start learning a little bit. Mm-hmm. That belief will start coming little by little by little. So start doing something. Start learning, and then take steps. Bigger steps, larger strides forward.
Exactly.
So, people fail to even take the first step because they feel so unsure, or they don't have it all figured out, or they they wait for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Like the loose skin, the whatever. I mean, you're 350 pounds. Don't worry about the loose skin right now.
Right.
Worry about the 350 pounds.
Well, and that was why I wrote the list, is that, I had to put on paper what I was doing wrong so that I could see it every single day. And it started, the first thing on my list was not as much fast food. And so, it may be later on down the road that my goal will be step on stage as a bodybuilder, but that would come later on. I just wanted, like you said, to do something, and it kept progressing and kept progressing, and I kept making changes and adjustments, and I still have a list going today. I'm never going to stop with my list.
Right. No, we should all be self-improving. No one's perfect.
Exactly.
There should always be something we're working on in our lives, regardless of where we're at.
Why are you speaking for everybody, Jeremy? Why are you speaking for everybody that we're not perfect?
You're perfect, Ellie. I'm sorry. Lyss and I have some things that we're working on at all times.
I wasn't talking about myself.
I'd like to think I am.
I'm sure there's people on here that think they're perfect, so let's not speak for everybody, man. All right?
Well, I hate to be the person to have to break it to them, but
you can be your number one fan.
Right. Yeah. No, the number one on my list is just be perfect like Ellie. And I've been striving for that for a long time.
I wish, dude.
Yeah. We have less than 10 minutes now. We've got 7 minutes going. We've got a couple questions here. So if you don't mind, Lyss, could we throw a couple more questions at you?
Sure. Lay it on me.
Okay. Let's talk. Pretty Blonde Girl is saying, what was your biggest mental hurdle you had to face?
Ooh, that's a good question. The biggest mental hurdle was the foods that I thought I would miss out on. And whether that be in a social situation with my friends who are going out for sushi and, hey, I want sushi and I really miss my mashed potatoes. I really miss my burgers. I'm missing out on, it's that feeling of what am I missing? And so that was hard to get over food wise. And then mentality wise, in terms of the gym and training and kind of continuing to push myself, that's always a little difficult because sometimes you think it's good enough to just show up and be there, but you have to actually put in an effort to continue to make progress.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you're talking about the foods that you're going to miss out on this kind of stuff, was there almost a side of you that felt like it was your right to eat the way you wanted to eat, and when you couldn't, it was almost like you were being punished, or why can't you eat an entire family-sized Chinese dinner for yourself, and why shouldn't you be able to go? And sometimes we're so close-minded when it comes to our habits and our desires, our addictions almost, that we fail to step that one step outside and look in and go, no one should be eating this.
Right.
It's not like no one should be living that way. It's not a punishment.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, and it wasn't even, it was for me more so, this was what had comforted me for so many years. And this was my friend and I depended on it for so long. What am I supposed to do now if I can't have my Ben and Jerry's when I'm heartbroken, and when I can't have my mashed potatoes when I'm sad and having a rough day? So it felt like I was lost a little bit without it. And so that was kind of tough too.
And we have another one. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Lyss a question. Speaking of heartbroken, are you single? Are you married? Do you have a boyfriend? Tell us a little bit about how your weight loss transformation has affected you in your personal life, as far as in your love life, really.
So I didn't even lose my virginity until I was 24 years old, and I had lost a significant amount of weight. I mean, I had my experiences, but
that's a different blab.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to.
It's a different show altogether. I mean, side note, when I was fat, I had huge boobs, and believe me, I use that to my advantage. But I didn't even lose my virginity until I was 24 years old. And that was when, I had tried dating before, but I couldn't because it was always such an issue. I was uncomfortable. I didn't feel sexy. I didn't feel pretty. I knew I was, I had a decent personality. I was kind of funny, but that only goes so far when you don't feel good about yourself. So once I was able to kind of lose more weight and figure out who I was, aside from the funny fat girl persona, it was a little easier to get out there and have horrible, traumatizing dating experiences like everybody else out there. And for years, I had horrible dating experiences and great dating experiences. And, it's taken on a whole life of its own where I can get out there and be myself and feel comfortable and feel sexy and good and vibrant. So it definitely affected my personal life in a great way, in a positive way.
And your confidence, I'm sure.
And my confidence. Yeah. But no, I'm not married.
I'm sure some of the single guys out here will be hitting you up very, very soon.
Yeah. So guys, just there's a little icon with a plus next to it, next to Lyss's name. That's subscribe.
Woo, woo.
You can subscribe to her, and then go from there. Just spark up a conversation. Dude, we are not going to answer that question on here, and I don't. I'm not even gonna. We're not going to go. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was
Thank you, Jeremy.
A very personal question.
We have some interesting characters on tonight.
Yeah, we do, man.
In fairness, though, that's not the first time I've been asked that question.
Hey, no, I've been asked some crazy stuff too, but it's just been, like I said, this is the first time we've ever had a guest, and so obviously it's the first time that we've ever had a female on here too. So you get all these, these guys that would just pass us up because it's two dudes running a show. Now we've got a woman on here, and they come out of the woodwork. So we've got another question here, and only a couple minutes left.
Sure.
How do you make good, strong? In fact, I'm going to take this one first, and then I'll let you add on your thing. How do you make good, strong habits that last all the life? How you don't lose your way in the middle of the road? Pablo, how I kind of explain it a lot of times to my clients is that creating new healthy habits has a lot to do with consistency. That's really kind of the base of creating a new habit, is consistency. If you were to try to do something new and you had a very bad negative way of doing it, and you did it good for a couple days and then bad for a couple days and then good for a couple days, you're never going to create these healthy habits doing it on and off and on and off and on and off again. Consistency really is the key. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have a bad day. It doesn't mean you're not going to give into that temptation once in a while. The point is picking yourself up and pushing forward with what you know is the right path. And with that consistency, you will start to build these into new lifestyle habits where once it is truly a habit, it's effortless, because that's the whole point of habits. Habits are built into our brain so that we don't have to physically think about the actual actions that were taking place. That's what a habit is. And so once it is a habit, it's effortless. It is something you will do that takes very, very little effort. But until then, it will take the one step at a time approach. It'll take the day by mentality. It'll take the, motivating yourself, reminding yourself of your goals, and staying strong on a day-to-day basis with that consistency in place until you build it into a true habit. So,
Jeremy, I hate to break this up. I'm glad that you finished answering that question. Pablo, muchas gracias. Sé que hablas español. Thank you, Pablo. Pablo is one of our Spanish-speaking members on here. I wanted to say something in Spanish. We have run out of time. Lyss, we are extremely grateful for you to have joined us this evening.
Thank you.
Yes.
As I told you before, this will not be the last time we have you on, because I think you are incredibly inspirational, motivational, and you have some great information that people want to hear. You are definitely helping people all over the world take the step in the right direction. So this is an open invitation to come again and join us on another Blab. Until then, next Sunday, we have another guest. This one is a male guest, and many of you know him. His name is Drew Manning, and he is the author of Fit to Fat to Fit. He has a brand new show on A&E called Fit to Fat to Fit. Drew is going to join us next Sunday. He's going to tell us all about his going from a super duper ripped professional bodybuilder trainer to have purposely gained over 80 pounds to see what it felt like to be obese and how to lose the weight together with his clients. This is what the A&E show on TV, actually now, it's a current show that just started a few episodes ago. This is what the show is about, different trainers that have been ripped and have gained the weight to lose it together with their clients. Drew will be joining us next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We look forward to having you again. Jeremy, thank you so much, buddy. Lyss, thank you so much, and join us whenever you like, please. All right?
Thank you guys for having me.
Our pleasure. So until next time, Jeremy, peace out.
Peace out. I can't wait to have you back, Lyss. We've got a lot to learn from you. An hour wasn't long enough. So you guys have a fantastic day. We see you next week, every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Good night, guys.
Later. Bye.